All right, so let's dive in and take a quick look at how we can use two trained LoRAs in Flux to create a combination image. So I use FAL.ai. It's what I recommend. I don't make any money on that, but there are other services that are similar. But you need to find a way to access Flux. And again, I use FAL.ai. In here, I'm going to make sure I go over to my Flux LoRa training. As you can see, I've trained two models over here, two separate models that I can use. The first one that I did 11 days ago is actually, or the second one that I did 11 days ago is actually on a style, not on an individual. The first one is on me so that I can create self-styled portraits. This second one that I did is on how to create 3D cartoon images. So what we need to do if we want to run this is we need to open up both of these by clicking Run Inference. So I'm going to click Run Inference here first. And I'm going to copy this path. It's really important that we copy this path right here because we're going to need it. And we also need to take a look at what our prompt or our trigger word is here, in this case, 3D cartoon. And we need to know that because when we create our combined image using both LoRas, we need to reference both of these. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So now I'm going to run inference on the model that's trained for me to look like me, Jonathan, but we're going to create 3D cartoon characters of me. So the first thing I need to do is I need to add an item. Let me move my face over here. We need to add an item, and this is where we're going to paste in what we just did, that path that we just took from the other LoRa. So this is how we're bringing that, we're combining both of these together. Then I also need to remember that I need to put in my 3D cartoon. And now I'm trying to remember, is that what I had or not? We need to put that keyword in there as well. Let's go take a look and just remember what I did. I'm pretty sure that was it, 3D cartoon. So let's make a simple prompt here. Jonathan Mast, J Mast, as a white bearded entrepreneur. Let's say, and we're going to change it as an entrepreneur with a long, whoops, spelled that wrong, a long white beard, standing in, let's say standing on a busy street, 3D cartoon inspired by Disney. So we want to put all of that in there. The keywords, I need my two triggers, my Jonathan J. Mast and my 3D cartoon. I could come up with a lot better prompt if I had some time, but for right now, this will show us how we combine these in. I then have my different weights that I can use, called scales. I tend to find I get the best luck when I take my style prompt, my style LoRa, and move it up to about 1.5, but you'll want to experiment and see where you're at. We'll go ahead and set my other images. We're going to go ahead and make these a portrait 3x4. And we're going to leave the CFG or the guidance scale at 3.5. And just because I want to do this quickly, we're going to create 4 images at a time. And I like putting them in PNG format just because they're potentially slightly better quality. Let's see what we get here. So we're going to let this go, and this should be creating images that, again, now resemble me, Jonathan Mast, but in a 3D cartoon style. And by combining both of those styles, it allows us to do that. And there we go. You can see we've got that. So me as an entrepreneur, I didn't describe much of my character or anything else, but let's take a look. And there we go. 3D cartoon character, bulging eyes. By the way, the 3D cartoon characters that I uploaded were my traditional 3D cartoon characters, which have exaggerated facial features and things like that. So we're getting that coming through here very well. Let's go ahead and run one more as an example. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change my guidance scale back up to about 8, which is where I often run it if I'm doing things on my own. Let's see how this impacts those images. That guidance scale will indeed make a difference in how 3D animated they look and how close it is to you. And you want to try some things out. There are no perfect settings, by the way. You're going to want to try this out and what works best for you and what meets your personal preferences. So let's take a look here as we generate these images. And you'll be able to see these images look a little bit more like me. They're still cartoon-ish, but they are definitely have more of my facial features. Now, again, you may like this better. It looks more like me, but you may not. And so you'll want to pick the one that, again, best fits you where you like. And it's that simple. So step one, create a LoRa for your image or the image that you want to replicate. Step two, create a style LoRa where you're not uploading images of yourself, but you're uploading images of a consistent style. If you watch my Facebook page, I just took a number of images, the 3D images that I create, and put those in there. And then you can combine them by taking that LoRa path, pasting it in here as an additional path, and then putting your prompt in and making sure, very importantly, that you use both of those trigger words in your prompt. So I hope this helps you figure out how you can combine this. We could do this in other styles. I could do painting, watercolor, you name it. I could do all kinds of different things, but this gives you an example of how to combine the two LoRas together.